Hey there, everybody, it's me, your buddy Dave, the host here at the Dark Stuff channel on YouTube. And as I am the source for your replacements information on YouTube, I am back to review the brand new Replacements live album for Record Store Day, not ready for prime time, live at the Cabaret Metro 1986. Okay, that was not the Replacements. That was a Replacements tribute band called Left of the Dial that I caught on the Friday night right before Record Store Day, the 19th. Believe it or not, that was their first ever show. And the guys, one of the guys actually messaged me on Facebook and said, hey, I didn't know if we saw your Replacements videos on YouTube. Did you know we've got this Replacements tribute band? And here's the night that we're playing. So I'm going to intersperse some live shots of from their performance, because I can't actually play Replacements records on here, and hopefully the volume of me listening to the record in the background is not going to trigger any type of copyright issue. Okay, so as I hinted in my other Record Store Day video, I did want to devote something special to the Replacements thing. So I casually mentioned it in that video, and feel free to watch that if you want to know about other stuff that was picked up at Record Store Day. But for this, just going to talk about the Replacements at Cabaret Metro. Here is the hype sticker. I mean, chances are if you're watching this video, you're pretty well aware of 2023's box set, maybe release of the year, the Replacements Tim the Let It Bleed edition. Now, most of the hype around that was the new mix of the Tim album, which I would say about 90% of fans are 100% into, and the other 10% are just being curmudgeonly jerks. No, I'm kidding. Okay. And they don't agree. They like the original. And I always said, look, as long as they preserve both versions, I'm fine. If they were to replace one with the other and not allow you to hear the old one just to hear the new one, I could see that being more problematic. But they give you the option of both. Me personally, I don't think I'm ever going to listen to the original again. I prefer the new one. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Sorry, I'm going off topic. So part of that great box set was 2 CDs with a live concert from the Replacements playing at the Cabaret Metro in Chicago, January 11th, 1986, about a week or so maybe before they played on Saturday Night Live. So that wasn't offered on vinyl, and as has become pretty standard for the Replacements, when they tack on something live to a box set, by the time the next Record Store Day rolls around, they will be releasing it individually as a double LP. And this one is no exception. Again, it's great. I mean, you're not going to get me knocking shit here. If you have the box set, you've probably heard the recording. And so I don't need to go into too much detail. Just to say that unlike the Live at Maxwell's album, which is like 5-star, just beautiful, perfect record, recorded a couple weeks later than this, that was with a 24-track mobile studio, and it's a professional live recording. This is not a professional live recording. This is a soundboard recording made by their sound man, and then to give it a little bit better atmosphere, because if you're a bootleg collector like me, you know that soundboard tapes generally sound pretty crummy. Yes, you don't get any additional noise from the audience or people yelling or whatever, but it makes it sound very sterile. So you have to kind of mix in some audience sounds to give it the full spectrum of sound, like you're at the show. But no matter what you do, you're never going to match the quality of a 24-track recording on strictly like a, fidelity sort of level. This is a great sounding, essentially a bootleg. It's a legitimate release. Okay, it goes through Rhino. I'm not saying it's a bootleg, but if you collected bootlegs, this would be considered like a really great bootleg. This would be something that you would want, not something super shitty, which, believe me, I've heard a lot of shitty ones. Now, I've always wondered, and I don't know if it was referenced in the Let It Bleed box or not, but in the liner notes to this one, okay, again, written by Bob Mehr, the band's biographer. He's done the liner notes in all of these box sets. He wrote the Trouble Boys book. He is the authority on the Replacements at this point. He mentions in there that part of the reason, because if you listen to the recording right when it starts off on side one, Gary's Got a Boner and Love You Till Friday, the sound is a little bit rough. And as is explained in the liner notes, the band just went on stage without telling anybody. Like, they just walked on and started going, and the sound guy wasn't even in his spot. He wasn't there. So he got there fast enough to hit record, but he hadn't gotten all his levels synced up and hadn't done all the stuff that he needs to do. So the first song, especially Gary's Got a Boner, sounds a little rough, and a little bit of Love You Till Friday, but he gets it worked out, and then it's fine. And as he's quoted in here, you know, he always got Paul's voice sounding perfect. He was their sound man from 85 to 87. So he was down there in the trenches. Now, unlike if you see the band in this video that's behind me, that's them at the 7th Street entry in 81. That's when they were super, super tight. They were young. And then they went through a couple of years where it was a pretty rambunctious show. Sometimes they didn't do their own songs and whatever. Again, I don't need to retell the legend of the Replacements. Chances are you know most of that. But on this one, it wasn't like that. They played a great show. Bob, a mere 5 or 6 months from him being fired from the band, is on fire. He's super enthusiastic. His playing is amazing. So the band was just great on this. This is, if you were lucky enough to see the Replacements at this time, and I wasn't. The first time I saw them was Pleased to Meet Me. But if you were lucky enough to see the band, the original band, you'd be hard-pressed to find a better gig than this one. I mean, honestly. They also give a quote in there from, I think, the same sound guy, who says that he thinks the performance on this one is better because the band didn't know they were being taped. And one thing to spook them or to give them a off show or whatever is to let them know they're being recorded because they play and act differently. And that is something that's going on the Live at Maxwell's, although the effect is so minimal, I don't even know what they're talking about. But in this one, they don't know. And this is just an amazing show for the 1,100 people at the sold-out Cabaret Metro. They witnessed one of the premier Replacements gigs. So the packaging is great. It is a gatefold filled with lots of great photos from that actual Metro show, including the flyer for it. Again, the liner notes from Bob Mehr. The quality of the pressing is good. I mean, it's Rhino. They're not putting out shit. Again, this is a semi-bootleg in terms of the quality of the recording, so you have to remember that when you're listening to it, to reduce your expectations on fidelity. It is not going to match Live at Maxwell's. It's not going to match the Don't Tell a Soul one that came out in Dead Man's Pop. It's not going to match those things. It's going to be more similar maybe to that radio broadcast from 1980 or 81, the KFAI record. That's what it's going to be more like. So just understand that. And that's not me saying, giving you a warning. No. I say if you like the Replacements and you don't have this, like I'm questioning your fanhood, dude. So yeah, you've seen a couple of clips here from Left of the Dial. My photos of them might look really, really great, because I actually used my good camera. But that was just because a buddy of mine who's a photographer was going to give me photo lessons that night because I figured I could practice in front of a tribute band. They wouldn't really care. So that's what I was doing, was practicing with my good camera, and some of them turned out pretty well. I still need a few more lessons, obviously. Before I let you go, if the guys in Left of the Dial are watching, I would say two things. Number one, you guys were very, very good. You almost play too well. Too well. There's not a bit of sloppiness or anything in there, and that's the Replacements. So you play it too well, but again, hard to criticize. And at the end of the show, when you guys were asking for requests, I yelled out "fuck school" like 3 times. I wasn't expecting you to play it, but I felt like maybe you didn't hear me and you thought I was saying "fuck you." I was not saying "fuck you." I liked the show very much. I was saying "fuck school." Just so we clear that up. So again, great show, great packaging. It's a great pressing. You get Bob Mehr's writing. I mean, not super outrageously priced. Again, get it. Cabaret Metro. Thanks a lot for watching, everyone. Take care.
So, you have a MySpace page or something?